Got to remember, the Middle East is going to be the hot spot. That's where all the tension, that's where all the center of focus, the Board of Peace, Abraham Accords, just everything, man. And if you're just now getting in tune to all of this, it's a lot to digest. But I digress. Here's some updates about what's going on in the current situation.
The public, I don't care if you call yourself a Christian, a Muslim, an agnostic, a Jew, a Hindu, whatever. I don't care if you're black, white, or where you live in the world. I can tell you that there's a major normalcy bias in civilization, that things are going to continue to be the way they've been, which compared to where they're about to get is fabulously wonderful. The current path we're on so many fronts, and the alternative to what Trump's trying to do is absolutely nightmarish, the Great Reset, and then Trump deviating from the nationalist, populist, Renaissance, America First move and taking out the globalist and stabilizing the world, him now deviating from that plan just creates hellish scenarios. So, whereas most of the drama is just people getting upset with Trump and they're done and, you know, all the rest of that, or worshiping what Israel's doing, and oh, this is all biblical, we're going to force the end of the world, we're going to force Jesus to come back. You've got all that lunatic behavior over there. It is really hard to overstate how much danger everybody's in. And the Pentagon's been very good about not leaking on Trump like they did the first 4 years. But notice they did leak, and it was confirmed that this Iran thing was a bad idea. Now, here's the big news. And they say Fox News broke this. I actually broke this on Tuesday. On record. In fact, have the archivist grab it, please. I said it in the first hour, said it in the second hour, Tuesday, from my sources, that in northwestern Iran, massing on the border with Iraq, Syria, that all these different communist / Islamic groups, there's like 9 of them, but there's 2 big ones. And there's an Al-Qaeda jihadi group, too. Don't forget about them. That they are being backed by huge weapon shipments being delivered to them. Anti-tank missiles, anti-aircraft missiles, javelins, heavy machine guns, armored vehicles, and that they're preparing to invade. I said actually on Tuesday, I believe the invasion's already begun with scouts and obviously Green Berets there with them, embedded, directing them. And now Fox News this morning is like, yeah, they're going in. They're already inside. So the United States of America with Israel has launched a proxy war with a totally disgusting ragtag group of some of the nastiest terror organizations on the planet. I mean, these communist groups blow up school buses in Turkey and stuff. I mean, they are nasty. And they are now by the thousands pouring in to northwestern Iran. So we are, like I told you on Saturday morning, I said, we are committed. This is full regime change, no matter how long it takes. And then people are like, oh, you're a traitor. It's another pinpoint strike. You're a Democrat scumbag. Blah. Trump now, 2 days ago, this may last forever. It is about regime change. Oh, and then what did he say yesterday? He said, no, I got to go. I got to run this war. I mean, it's like incredible how they try to gaslight us. We'll be right back.
Just in, it's big. A U.S. official telling Fox thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran. Decimated, destroyed, defeated. All words the Pentagon used to describe Iran's various military forces on day 5 of Operation Epic Fury. Moments ago, President Trump touting its success.
So we're in a very strong position now, and their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be.
Well, President Trump is morphing into George W. Bush before our very eyes. He's chosen not his constituents, not the American people on foreign policy, but he has chosen to break his promise, take us to full regime change, total war with Iran, and to join Lindsey Graham and the Never-Trumpers and his arch-enemies. Now, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, we are now committed to total war with Iran. As I told you Tuesday, people know I don't just make stuff up. Should have been a big deal. I mean, I saw them take a clip out of the show and put it up on X. I think it got a couple million views, but it should have had 100 million. I told you on Tuesday that the U.S. Special Forces and Israeli Special Forces were delivering huge amounts of weapons into Iraq and into Syria on the border with northwest Iran, and that these different groups, Fox calls them Kurds, what they are is hardcore communist organizations and Al-Qaeda. And I have the organizations, know them well. They've been listed by the U.S. government as terrorists for decades. Guess they're not now. Notice they just put the former leader of Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria. That was done right before Trump got into office. So here's the big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. It took 15 years for the West to topple the Assad regime, the last Ba'athist group in the Middle East. And if it takes 15 years now of civil war, ground war, we are now committed to this. Unless there's major public pressure and understanding of what's happening to get this to be shut down and stopped. That's why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff told Trump this has a lot of really bad ramifications and will finally go into total war. And Trump went ahead with it regardless. And you're told, oh, it's just surgical strikes. It'll be over very quickly. Oh, it's going to last 2 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. Now we're told it'll last until September. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Oh, 7 months now. Remember, 2 weeks to flatten the curve? Just stay in your house for 2 weeks. Some areas of the world, it was 3 years locked up. Here in the U.S. and Europe, 2 years. Canada, almost 2 years. U.S. Central Command, meanwhile, is asking the Pentagon to send more military intelligence officers to its headquarters in Tampa, Florida, to support operations against Iran for at least 100 days, but likely through September, according to a notification obtained by Politico. Yeah. So we're being sleptwalked into total war, just like NATO did with Russia. And the Iranians did not have any way the sophisticated weapons they have now during the Iran-Iraq war. The CIA publicly funded it. Saddam worked for the CIA. 2 million Iranians died, 800 to 900,000, they debate the number of Iraqis. And that's with the U.S. flooding Saddam with intelligence from satellites, ground blimps, CIA advisors, Green Berets, all of it. And you notice what they did to Saddam after that happened. They set him up, of course. He was a CIA-trained agent. When he was 18 years old, 2 years trained with the CIA. But that was in the 50s. So that's what's unfolding here. So we were told no regime change, that if he had to hit their nuclear sites, he would, but that was it. He promised no war with Iran. And so now his surrogates have been telling us since Saturday, well, this isn't a war. This is just a pinpoint military operations. And now Trump, yesterday during the cabinet meeting, said, well, I got to go. I got to go run this war. We'll play that in a moment. But I just love the Johnny-come-lately white pill type Trump supporter influencer people that literally say anybody that asks a question about this or says this is dangerous, that we're traitors. And that, well, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff didn't really say that. Yeah, he did. He did say it shouldn't be done. and you sit around not knowing military tactics, not knowing history, not doing your research, and trying to spin that, well, Trump didn't really lie because this isn't a war. Or why are you for the mullahs? I mean, I get attacked everywhere. Oh, I bet Alex is getting money from Qatar. Oh, yeah. I say what I believe is right. I get money from listeners that buy products at thealexstore.com. That's it. And a couple sponsors. And we're sitting here going over the edge of this cliff. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Energy prices are exploding. Iran's got a lot of tricks up their sleeve and is allied with Russia and China. We're in toe-to-toe war with Russia. And I fought like the devil to get Trump in because I believed him. My goodness, next month he may go to war with Russia. I mean, directly. I mean, this is a real reckless move, okay? Now, that said, I'm not scorched earth with Trump because I'm a pragmatist and it's on his face. The Democrats are foaming at the mouth, anti-American criminals robbing everything they can, including the kitchen sink, who want total war with Russia and who want our children and who want to flood our borders and who literally want to Cloward and Piven have a communist civil war. So we got them waiting in the wings and all the globalist communist parties in Europe trying to censor America and all this and oppressing their people. And they've got Bill Gates and all of them geared up with new viruses to release, bragging about that. Trump alone killing the Paris Accord, and it's falling apart. The whole fake environmental movement to tax everywhere you go, everything you do, cut carbon by more than half. All the estimates are it'll kill billions of people over a decade that live at subsistence levels, and in all the actuaries, they'll have civil wars, they'll get violent, they'll then flood us with refugees. I mean, we are on the edge of a cliff here. Okay?
United States, where we already have an economic crisis. And again, Trump said yesterday, he did it for Israel. He said Israel is going to strike first, so we had to go in. Marco Rubio said the same thing following a briefing with the Gang of Eight in the Senate. Israel is going to attack, so we had to go in and attack as well. What kind of leadership is that? How is that America first? What superpower does that? When in history has a powerful nation, a powerful sovereign nation, decided that another country 6,000 miles away, some little hyper-militarized colony was going to attack another country in its region? So instead of stopping it from doing so or saying, hey, buddy, you're on your own, we're not going to get our own troops killed for your war. Instead, they said, well, we're going to go do it with you, and we're going to open the gates of hell. And now the Pentagon is preparing for a war until September. Trump was told this war is going to last 2 to 4 days. And once we kill the Ayatollah, it'll all be over. No, it's going to last till September. This is exactly what the Israelis want to have happen. The Israelis want a U.S. ground invasion. There's nothing Benjamin Netanyahu would like more than American blood in Iran, dead American soldiers in a ground war, because it will cause Americans, including many members of your audience, to call for vengeance. It's the only way to reverse the tide of public opinion, which is solidly against this war, because the American public doesn't want to get in a war that won't solve the affordability crisis.
Well, you're right. There's no doubt that Netanyahu has been in for 25 years off and on. He's under investigation, been convicted, all of it. He needs a good or Damarang, a end of days, scenario to stay in power and loves the attacks on Israel, loves the demonization, loves that Israel is the most unpopular country in the world because now he can play victim. But let's pull back here. The messaging. We had to go in, Rubio says a few days ago, because Israel struck. And we know that's true because they were going to hit them at nighttime the next day. Instead, Israel goes in. Now we have to. Then the PR machine comes out and the administration says, no. Trump forced the hand. Trump goes, yes, I forced the hand. Then again, yesterday goes, no, they hit, so I had to hit. And all the messaging is, oh, it's about WMDs, it's about nukes. No, it's about regime change. No, we can't say what it's about. I mean, the messaging is absolutely insane. It is schizophrenic. From the same individual in a day will say 3 different things. What the hell is that?
Or Lindsey Graham said it. This is a religious war, and we are deciding the Middle East for the next 1,000 years. He said that as Benjamin Netanyahu, a secular Zionist, someone who doesn't actually he may not even believe in God, was reading from the book of Esther with military officers, the book of Esther, which describes the slaughter of Persians as he authorized Israeli strikes, striking civilian targets across Tehran.
That's right. He picked a Jewish
12,000
holiday
person soccer stadium.
about overcoming Persians to launch this, to obviously be as provocative as possible and stir up everybody.
Yeah, and they're imposing a religious war on Iran and claiming that it's Iran who are the religious
Meanwhile,
fanatics.
we have officers confirming that they've got them in briefings with hundreds of officers, and they're saying, we're forcing Jesus to come back. This is the end of the world. See anybody, unless you said there's all these overlapping levels of BS, that's how you get him. And they've been able to do that now. So I want to ask you, we're about to go to break, but big picture, just give us a little prelude. Is there any way to extricate us out of this? Is there any way to pull Trump's bacon out for all of our sakes? Or what are the bad scenarios if this continues on into just, it's already full commitment. I mean, what is he likely to do? I mean, this is so dangerous. Because I've already got his new announcements here. He's literally like, I'm going to decide who the new leader is the next few weeks. He's literally counting his chickens before they're hatched right here. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. George W. Bush went to war as a popular president after 9/11. The war was initially popular. This war is unpopular. There was no 9/11. Donald Trump is underwater in the polls. He could easily just pull out and say, we killed the Ayatollah. We did all this damage to them. We hit their nuclear facilities. We're done. But the Israelis will not let him do that, because then they'll be left alone. And then they will be struck by Iranian ballistic missiles in retaliation. And so they're doing everything possible to keep the U.S. escalating all the way to a ground war that the U.S. cannot get out of. That's why Israel is the most dangerous force in the world to the United States, because Iran cannot force the U.S. into a war. Only Israel can. And in a ground war, the U.S. will be playing to Iran's strength, and more American soldiers will die. For Israel, it would destroy Donald Trump's legacy, and this administration will go down in flames if he goes down that route. I can't say how the war will go. I can say his administration will go down if he goes down that route.
Well, I mean, you're right. And I interrupt you going into the history of how the advisors in 60 helping the French in Indochina, and then we're really already at war. By 64, we staged the Gulf of Tonkin. I was using the example of Bay of Pigs, where they were going to set Kennedy up. You know, the Cuban exiles get caught on the beach. Hey, you got to give American support. Kennedy says, no, you set me up. This is 100%. They're going to send the Kurds in, and they're going to call them, the people of Iran are being killed. They need our help. And then now we're fully in there, and we've invaded Iran, which is already starting. Yeah,
and hundreds of thousands of Iranian men will sign up to fight the great Satan. I mean, they are enthusiastic to do this.
Yeah, Max, I mean, you're dead on about the history here, and it's just horrifying. Trump seems to look particularly happy right now. He's putting out statements. Everyone loves what's happening. Cuba's next. I mean, I'm really seeing some megalomania here. I wanted Trump to, you know, get jobs back and be a populist, and seeing him as a disruptive thing to the establishment. But now with this, it's just horrifying. There's so many areas to go to. What do you think this audience should know? And is there, I already asked the question, was there any way to stop this?
Again, if Donald Trump wants to be an American leader, he can stop it right now. But that's not what's happening. He has launched Operation Epstein Fury for Israel after becoming a vehicle for Israeli foreign influence, and he is putting American service members and American interests and American assets in the line of fire for a tiny little apartheid colony 6,000 miles away that has an enormous preponderance of political and financial influence over his administration. And this just in, Alex, from Axios, Donald Trump says that Benjamin Netanyahu must be pardoned. Benjamin Netanyahu is facing 3 corruption trials in his own country, and Trump said, every day I talk to Bibi about the war, I want him to focus on the war and not the effing court case. That's how pathetic this is. That's how subservient Donald Trump is behaving, and that's not the leader that I think America First supporters elected.
He's literally holding Europe hostage, saying, do this, I mean, basically.
Yeah, Europe's so screwed. And I don't think the Trump administration understands the cascading economic effects of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which isn't even fully closed, but ships are not going through. Like Maersk and the major shipping companies, they've suspended operations. And as I said, Qatar's cut off LNG to Europe. So this will take like a month for LNG to come back if the war ends today. This is going to have enormous cascading effects on the economy going through for like the rest of the year, all the way to midterms, when he and the Republicans probably get clobbered because Donald Trump decided to focus on nation building and neocon BS instead of the original agenda that he marketed to his support base that wanted to make America great again. It's so devastating what we're going to see economically when the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And by the way, this is why the U.S. and Israel are waging war on Iran, because they want to control the Strait of Hormuz, but there's an independent nation there. If that nation wasn't Islamic, wasn't Muslim, and they were Chinese, it would still be under attack if they supported the Palestinians, who have been under occupation for decades, and they controlled the Strait of Hormuz and had the control of their own economy and didn't have massive IMF debt. They would still be under attack. That's what this is about. And again, what people need to know is this is not a war that will support American interests or make America great.